sorry folks, I don't want to be making this video. I didn't want to make it 2 days ago when the news of the incredibly destructive and violent riot in Berkeley over Milo Yiannopoulos' speaking engagement was rampant all over the news. I didn't want to make it yesterday night when I was uploading my last video on the same dang topic as Gavin McInnes was kicked out of his speech at NYU and screamed at by shrill, screeching harpies. And honestly, I don't want to make it now. But because I've been involved in not one but 2 conversations on Normie Book with people I know or have friends that I know, justifying this violence, calling Milo Yiannopoulos a neo-Nazi and a white supremacist, I guess I fucking have to make it! And I'm sorry, I really am trying to tone down the vulgarity, but this just makes me so irate I cannot help it. So, leftists, if you are listening to this, and I really hope you are because I am trying to get out a message, I'm going to explain Milo Yiannopoulos, aka the dangerous faggot, to you. First and foremost, Milo is a gay, Jewish, legal immigrant who has very frequently professed his love for black men. See all those identities you're supposed to love and protect? Yeah? An LGBT Jew who loves the BBC? Oh, and I am not referring to the British Broadcasting Corporation. Yeah, that's Milo, the white supremacist. Listen, Milo is a professional troll. He intentionally provokes people to get a reaction and to create conversation, to get people thinking about the topics he covers. Milo wants to make you angry because he wants to make you think. If you cannot rationalize why you're angry, then the goal is that you might have to reconsider some of your opinions. In the last 2 days, I've argued with leftists over this. Rather than respond, they just blocked me. That's cute. And I guess that's the position of the left now. I don't need to think. I already know everything and am morally superior to anyone who disagrees with me and my uninformed opinions. Seriously, all the people calling Milo a white supremacist and saying that violence against his hate speech is justified, what is wrong with you? Violence is awful. Violence is only ever justified in self-defense. So unless Milo himself punched you, you're not defending yourself when you set fire to garbage, beat people with poles, and spray innocent bystanders with mace. This is not a protest. This is a riot. This is domestic terrorism. And over what? Hate speech? Hate speech. Have you ever heard this man talk? Yes, he is incendiary. As I said, that is the point. But he has never, not once, called for violence. I keep seeing this, quote, hate speech is not free speech shit. First of all, no, dingus, there is no part of the First Amendment, the right to free speech, that excludes hate speech. What is hate speech and where does the legality enter into it? As a part of this, we need to differentiate between hate speech and fighting words. Hate speech is speech that offends, threatens, or insults based on race, color, religion, national origin, sexual orientation, disability, or other traits. Now, you're allowed to speak that way. Sorry, it's covered under your constitutional right. That speech is protected. So yeah, again, sorry, just because someone says something that you find offensive, they did not break the law, and you are not within your rights to attack them. This is an important part of living in a democratic society with free speech. People are allowed to say offensive things. What people are referring to when they mention this right to assault those who say bad words is something called fighting words, which are words which would likely make the person whom they are addressed commit an act of violence. This is not protected under the First Amendment because it is a call to violence, a call to action. It involves directly insulting a person without any intention of discussion or for the purpose of sharing an opinion. And this is how the leftist media is trying to assert that it's legally okay to punch Nazis or break windows or whatever over a Milo speech because you're just reacting to his fighting words. Okay, first, no you're not. You're breaking the law and you have no legal ground to stand on, not an inch. Guess what? Just because fighting words are not covered under the First Amendment still does not make violence legal or acceptable in our society. Violence, again, is only justified both ethically and legally in self-defense. So I guess the argument is that you're defending yourself against this hate speech, but it is not hate speech. And now, friends, you have to listen to the dangerous faggot himself explain it in all of his horrific hate speech.
Do you consider yourself a white nationalist?
No.
Isn't that what some people would think of when they hear of you don't like the changing face of places like
No,
London,
I'm talking
you
about
don't like-
culture,
you don't
not
like
race.
Muslims coming in.
No, I'm talking about culture, not race, and it's typical of someone like the BBC to try to conflate the two, because
I'm
what they want to
asking you a
do,
question.
well, what they want to do is to suggest that if you're proud of your country and the ideals on which your country is founded, that somehow makes you a racist. It doesn't. I'm not talking about skin color. I don't care about skin color. All my boyfriends are black. I don't give a toss about skin color. What I do care about is values and ideas. And the regressive social attitudes of Muslims in the West are terrifying, absolutely terrifying. And organizations like yours won't report on them honestly, accurately, or fairly. It's left to other places to do it. And then what you do is, once you fail to report on them accurately, is accuse people who are concerned with some justification about the changing nature of their culture, not race, in their countries, is you then accuse them of being white nationalists. That's pretty disgusting.
Let me be clear, I'm not accusing you of anything, I'm just asking...
If I was a white nationalist, it's one of those
It's a
charges
question,
sort
not
of
an
sits.
accusation.
Would you ask anyone that? Would you just go randomly ask anyone else, hi madam, I've never met you before, are you a white nationalist? No, you don't do that.
Well,
You're doing it because you want to suggest that there is something nefarious about my belief system. You're doing it because you want to associate my admiration for American ideals, my admiration for what happens in America, and saying that matters everywhere else, freedom, democracy, property, capital. You want to sort of associate that with race. I never did that. You did that.
Because, the reality is, if you force everyone to play identity politics, if you insist on pitting whites against blacks, women against, men, straights against gays, the reality is you guys are going to win. And the left isn't going to like it very much. But there's a better way, Don't fight identity politics with identity politics. White pride, white nationalism, white supremacy isn't the way to go. The way to go is reminding them and yourselves that you should be aspiring to values and to ideas. You should be focusing on what unites people, not what drives them apart.
So I sent these two clips out while talking to these leftists, and not a single one bothered to respond beyond blocking me or calling me fucking awful. So yeah, I'm guessing they didn't watch the videos. Let's look at what Milo has to say about white supremacy and Nazism, in which Milo clears himself of the claims of white nationalism and fascism. So have a listen.
Open and transparent about your political objectives, and let readers make up their own minds. I've never claimed to be impartial. I think it's fairly obvious I have opinions, and everything I say should be taken, with that in mind. And you should go and listen to me, and you should also go and listen to feminists, and you should go and listen to Black Lives Matter activists, and you should work out who you like the best at the end of it. Now, the problem is you're listening to bad sources because you come here and you have sort of under your breath, almost not as loudly as you said anything else, but under your breath you sort of said, oh, white supremacists, blah, blah, blah. You kind of wanted to get it under the radar. You wanted to say it without me having an opportunity to dispute it. Fuck you. How fucking dare you call me a white supremacist? So, you're not leaving as well, are you? Come on. They always leave. Defend your allegation that I'm a white supremacist. Defend your allegation that I'm a white supremacist. Defend your allegation that I am a white supremacist. You call me a white supremacist. Defend it. Defending... Am I? Baby. See, the amount of black dick that's been in my mouth... It's really... I must be the most self-loathing white supremacist in the world. I asked you, and I'm going to give you one more opportunity to defend your allegation that I'm a white supremacist. Just try, do it.
Because you're enabling. Because you have the main platform that is spreading.
What am I enabling? Because what I've talked about this evening isn't race or skin color, I've talked about values. And when the BBC did what you're attempting to do now, as 1.3 million people have seen on my YouTube channel, what they did was try to conflate an admiration for American values, for the First and Second Amendment, for freedom, democracy, property rights, capitalism. They tried to conflate that with race. They tried to say, if you're proud of your country, or you admire the values of another country, that somehow makes you a racist. It doesn't. So I ask you one final time, please justify your allegation that I'm a white supremacist.
As a journalist and have reached to millions of people, you have an obligation, and you are blowing it with this hateful rhetoric that's further dividing this country.
Hateful rhetoric, you're not answering the question. White supremacists hate me. The Daily Stormer is the epicenter of white supremacism on the internet. They declared a holy war on me. They said they would never read Breitbart again until Breitbart fired me. They said I was their number one enemy. White supremacists and anti-Semites hate me. I prefer the expression race mixing kike faggot, but whatever. Sir, racists hate me. They hate me. Of course they do. So racists hate me, but I'm a white supremacist. You're just confusing me. You're confusing me. And I'm very easily confused because I'm a homosexual, but should we give him another chance? Give him one more chance. Okay. All right. Okay. One more try. I believe in you. I believe in you. I know you can do it. One more try. Justify your allegation. I didn't ask you if I was enabling white supremacists, which is just an equally idiotic allegation, but it's not the one you made. I'm asking you to justify your allegation that I'm a white supremacist. Please do so.
Oh, yeah, again! Would you look at that? He's not a white nationalist. He's not a Nazi. What a damn surprise. Yes, Milo says offensive things, and I often do not agree with him. I think he takes being incendiary too far in the same way I think the left is doing en masse, except the big difference is that Milo's doing it intentionally. And the left, yeah, not so intentionally. So do I think Milo is guilty of some sort of hate speech? Honestly, no. I think he's bombastic, but I think he does have some good points. On the other hand, I think he has some shitty points, and I have at least wondered if there's any coordination between him and the protesters who show up at every single speaking engagement. That's complete and utter speculation, with no shred of evidence. However, it is just my speculation, because I'm a skeptical person. So the question is, what has Milo said that's hate speech? I have looked around, and trust me, I've watched quite a few of his speeches. I really couldn't find anything. As such, let's just listen to Milo talk to Tucker Carlson about it.
Well, I think I agree with you in the first place. I mean, I'm not any of the things that these posters characterize me as in an effort to legitimize the violence. But even if I were, I don't think it would matter for the reasons you say. So I went in to do my talk. We go in a couple of hours before to set up our tech and for me to, put on a costume or something. I had a wonderful outfit plan, which is the main reason I'm upset about yesterday. I was going to go to I was going to talk about cultural appropriation in full Native American headdress. I had a full custom headdress with my name embroidered on it. I'm so mad that I didn't get to wear that. Anyway, we went in for like an hour or two beforehand. We were planning it, and suddenly there were these explosions outside. There were firecrackers and rocks being hurled at the building. The police were having things hurled at them, and I was evacuated up to the 5th floor, like by the fire escape. It was all very exciting. And then suddenly, I was being taken out of the building. I was informed that I was being evacuated because there were hundreds of protesters outside, blowing things up, hurling things at the police. The police didn't seem to me to be doing very much aside from hiding inside the building. The ground floor had been stormed, so we had to rush down to the parking lot, find one car, and that exit was blocked, so we ran to another car, and we finally got in one, and I was, bundled in, put in a bulletproof vest, and whisked away.
What did he say about you?
Oh, the usual slurs, this white supremacist speaker. I mean, please, anyone who's spent 5 seconds in my company or 2 seconds in my bedroom knows I'm not a white supremacist. But, this usual slurs that they wheel out in a sort of effort to legitimize violence against you. They want to call you the worst possible name. It's like, the punch a Nazi thing, right? Well, I could imagine a reasonable person being taken some way along the argument of, like, it's okay to punch Nazis. But the problem is that the left calls everyone Nazis. So basically, they can punch anybody.
Wait a second. Isn't it Nazis who do the punching? Isn't that what separates Nazis from the rest of us? They don't tolerate dissent, but civilized people do?
You would think so. I mean, when my book was announced, of course, there were people saying they were going to burn it while calling me the fascist.
I really think he summed up most of everything I could have said here, but I want to go into the argumentation further because I find it to be so toxic and bizarre. So the idea that you need to violently attack Nazis like Milo, and if you have any neurons still firing, my examples I just played should have cleared up the fact that he is in fact not a Nazi or a white supremacist. And as such, all violent behavior is justified because you have to attack first, you have to fight the Nazis, okay? Again, not only is that illegal, but it conflicts with this other self-defense against hate speech narrative. You can either say you're preemptively fighting Nazis, illegal, also not Nazis, or you're defending yourself against Nazi rhetoric, also illegal, also not Nazi rhetoric. So leftists, you've really locked yourselves into an ideological and ethical corner. You have no basis for this extreme aggression and hatred. All you do when you riot like this, and as I have said several times now, is make any thinking person despise you for being the bigots you claim to hate. Finally, and although I've already said this, let me make this abundantly clear. I like Milo. I don't always agree with him. Honestly, you want my real opinion? I would call him alt-light. Not that I consider myself a part of the alt-right, I do not. But his opinions for the most part are actually fairly tame. He just states them in a grandiose way that gets him attention. This hatred of him, truly, I think it stems from people who have just never heard him actually speak and are relying entirely on hearsay. I mean, look at the reaction to me providing proofs in the form of an actual speech. Again, I question some of his behavior and some of the protests, but the Young Turks, you disingenuous, morally bankrupt hacks, he did not stage the Berkeley riots. Those were your folks out there beating people half to death and destroying property. That was you, the left. That was you. And no, you are not justified. No, you are not fighting Nazis. No, you are just having a temper tantrum over nothing. And if you do not get over it, things might actually get bad for you soon. No one will be on your side if you keep acting like this. No one, but other extreme ideologues. Sorry about this video. Like I said, I didn't want to make it. It pisses me off just to think about this. And I hate to end on sad notes, so here's a meme, I guess. If you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe. I'm Aiden Paladin, Altana Bolt.